first of all, um, we pulled out of, by we I mean Jews who lived in a place called Gush Katif in 2000 until 2005, were pulled out of their homes, and since 2005 we've been getting nothing but non-stop rocket attacks for 18 years. What has been the response of the Israeli government? Bombing empty buildings and or bombing the rocket installations which are on top of hospitals, schools, and mosques. So what that leads to, obviously what that has led to, is horrible PR for Israel. Not only that, we haven't really solved the problem. So now people are asking, Tzvi, what are you suggesting? You're suggesting that we send troops into Gaza? Listen, my answer is it's not that simple, but my answer is, they keep showing us this show called Fauda on Netflix, right? And they keep sending these people, right? It's a show, but it's based on reality, right? So supposedly, allegedly, we know that they keep sending trained people into dangerous areas where they do house-to-house fighting, right? To fight terrorist groups. Okay, so now you're talking about sending an army to do that, a trained army. I'm not talking about regular soldiers. I'm talking about special forces, right? We have more than 5 or 6 people, like in the show, right? We have thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, if not tens of thousands. Ladies and gentlemen, the Israeli government could have solved this problem a very long time ago. They deliberately don't want to solve the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 18 years, almost 18 years. If this goes to Tisha B'Av of this year, it's going to be 18 years that we pulled Jews out of their homes and we have had rocket attacks. With regards to the problem of what happened last night and what happened today, ladies and gentlemen, it's been, I guess, 100 years. The first kind of attack of this kind happened in Hebron, I believe in 1929. Maybe there were riots before that in the early 20s. Ladies and gentlemen, it's essentially been 100 years. 100 years. If you want to say we didn't really have a government or an army, we couldn't take care of this. For the first, I don't know, let's say, if you want to be generous and say for the first 40 years, we were dealing with the British, we were dealing with other things. Fine. Ladies and gentlemen, we won a war in 1967. The same enemies attacked us in 73. We kept our country. We stopped it from being overrun. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've had, since basically that time, if not since maybe 1982 or 1987, since, let's say, the first Intifada, since 1987, since my parents and I came to America, right? Now I'm sitting here in Jerusalem, but since we came to America, and since we left the Soviet Union, the Israeli government has had since then, ladies and gentlemen, to solve the problem that we still face and faced last night, and today. And the Israeli government has deliberately, ladies and gentlemen, not solved the problem. Now we ask the question, why? My friend Frank thinks it's because they're basically doing some sort of a Avodah ritual. They're sacrificing people to their for their Gnostic fruitcake, God, whatever it is, Moloch. We don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I happen to think they're just doing it for political purposes. They just need an enemy, and they want to distract people from other problems in the country. And every so often they want to come out and say, terrorism will not be, accepted, and this is unacceptable. We will not tolerate this. We will not negotiate with these people. We will not this. We will not that. Beat their chests like Tarzan, like I said, and rinse, repeat. My friends, whatever the reason is, we know that they have the ability to solve this. They've had the ability to solve this, whether it's Gaza, whether it's shootings, whether it's bombings, whether it's whatever it is, stabbings, car rammings. They've had the ability to solve it, ladies and gentlemen, once and for all. Any person who's sitting and watching this, and if you work for any part of the Israeli government, or you work for an NGO, or you work for anything to do with the government or the army or anything, and you're telling me that what I'm saying isn't true, you're lying through your teeth. You're lying. You're lying. Either you're lying, or you're stupid, or you're shilling, or you're like doing damage control for the person that you work for. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let anybody tell you that the Israeli government cannot nip this once and for all in the bud. We just had the quote-unquote Abraham Accords, and if you want to say, oh, well, if we nip it in the bud, we're going to have bad relations with the people with whom we just made peace. Ladies and gentlemen, who did we have relations with before? Where's their Abraham Accords before? And what were we doing before? So what you're telling me is, if we had done this, if we had nipped it in the bud before, then we wouldn't piss anybody off. But now that we want to nip it in the bud, we will piss somebody off. Ladies and gentlemen, this is horse shit. This is absolute horse shit of the highest order. We can do it. All we have to do is want to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Why should it be that I should get texts from family and friends telling me, basically, that we should do what Rabbi Kahana suggested to do years ago, even though now, at that time, we could have done it. Now we actually can't. It's not, I don't even think it's an option to take millions of people and just send them away to, I don't know, Jordan, Saudi, Egypt, or wherever, Syria, Lebanon. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't do it. But what we can do is nip this whole thing in the bud. There are ways to do it, but we don't want to. The Israeli government, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't want to. They want to keep a perpetual conflict for whatever reason. Either deals they made with the State Department, deals they made with Russia, deals they made with whomever, with the Saudis, with the UAE, with the Europeans, with guys. I mean, you know the list of actors here. And we understand that the current prime minister, whether it's the current prime minister or the previous prime minister or the guy before him, or the guy before him, which was the same guy we have now, ladies and gentlemen, they're not our friends. They're not our friends. They're not here to help us. They're not here for our health. They're here. They're doing the bidding of other people. Guys, I don't know if you know this. The city of Caesarea in Israel, right? This is where Bibi lives. Do you know who owns that city? You guys could look this up. This is not a conspiracy theory. It's owned by a family that used to be Jewish. They haven't been Jewish in about 150 years, ladies and gentlemen. Their name starts with an R. Again, you can go look this up. At this point, by the way, guys, they're not even Jewish, that family. So anybody who accuses anybody of anti-Semitism, including me, an Orthodox Jew sitting here in Jerusalem, save it, guys. Okay? So we have a prime minister sitting doing the bidding of a family who are not Jewish. They have nothing to do with Israel except for the fact that they own the city of Caesarea and they have their own interests. He's doing the bidding of European NGOs. He's doing the bidding of whomever, the UN. I don't know who else. My friends, these people are sworn enemies at this point. Our government are our sworn enemies. We have a couple of people who are like religious Zionist people now in the government who are coming out and they're saying, they're trying to comfort people, the families of the victims, and this and that and the other. My friends, this is all kabuki theater. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all it is. And, we're going to send some troops to, raise a few homes, just demolish a few houses, as if that ever worked, as if that does anything, but, piss a lot of people off. And that's it, guys. And it's going to continue. It's going to be rinse, repeat. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be rinse, repeat. That's all it's going to be. It's going to continue. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to be done. Just like America doesn't have law enforcement, this country of Israel doesn't actually have real law enforcement. The government doesn't actually really care. If they did, they would have handled this a long, 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 long time ago, guys. And how do we know that, guys? Because we have courses in degrees. Forget about courses. We have degrees one can get in Tel Aviv and in Hebrew University. What are they called? Conflict management. It's not even conflict resolution. It's conflict management. Ladies and gentlemen, they just want to manage this. Or as a colleague of mine used to say, he appeared on one of these media stations, after one of the Gaza bombings. We just want quiet. No, man, we don't want quiet. We want to end this. We want to end it. I don't want quiet. It's quiet now. It's not going to be so quiet soon. We want to end it, ladies and gentlemen. We want to end it. The word shalom in Hebrew is related to the word shalem, which means completion. We want to complete this, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want to keep it at bay. We don't want to, I don't know, manage it. We don't want to just make temporary quiet. We want to end it. Закончи это все in Russian. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the only thing that will end it, is by ending it once and for all. How do you suggest we do that? There are ways. In this part of the world, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one thing people like this understand, unfortunately. They don't understand negotiations. They don't understand I don't know, raising people's houses. They understand brutality. Yes, unfortunately. Unfortunately, yes, that's what they understand. That is what they understand. That's basically it, guys. I'm not going to go into detail, but again, our government knows how to do certain things with its own people, brutal things with its own people, with Jews. And we know what they're capable of, and we know that they can finish this thing once and for all, for the most part, like 99% of it, let's say. They won't even do that. And they always vilify the wrong people. And you have international media, of course, coming out and saying, we had it coming. Ladies and gentlemen, you understand that they're going to do this regardless, right? So you might as well take care of the problem. But they're not going to, my friends. They're not going to. It's been 18 years since we pulled Jews out of their homes. It's been about 50 since we took, back our land in the war of self-defense. Over 50. Right? 55 probably. And what are we doing? We're just sitting here with our thumbs up our asses, comforting people and pretending to care. Yeah, that's what it is, guys. All right. I'll talk to you soon.